Hey folks, let's take a look at our portfolio page. Now really what this is, you've probably seen these in other websites or online now because they're very popular. It's the Isotope Gallery. It's a gallery or a portfolio where you can organize your images under different buttons up here or categories and then have them sort of animate into the page. We've modified it by adding a title and a description as well as a link to a web page if you want to have this particular image linked to a web page. Right, and finally we've added something really cool, a little icon here. If you click the icon, it pulls up the Lightbox image. So very flexible portfolio because it has some really cool features. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? And we'll take a look at replacing the image, title, description, the web page, and then finally the not finally, but and modifying the Lightbox link right here, or the Lightbox picture. So we'll take a look at that for each individual image within the portfolio. And then finally, how do the images actually link or get displayed when you click a certain category title up here, and how do you change these category titles and add more or delete them. So let's pop into our portfolio page, and I'll just right click on the placeholder and open in library. And just like every other library item that has pictures, we've broken them down or separated them into thumbs. So you can, this is the thumb one, right? And then you can clearly see the link, the title, and the view web page. That's that little button that you see right here. So we hover over view web page, and of course we've styled it all through CSS. So with each picture, the image that we show here is 640 by 480, although in your page it displays a little bit smaller. The reason being is when you click on the image Lightbox icon, that's the full 640 by 480 image right there. So smaller version in the page, click to see a large, the larger version. And because we don't want to download two different images, we just make the Lightbox sized image. We just take that and we make sure that it fits into whatever available space we've assigned for the portfolio. Or basically, and you see in this one here, the images will take up the full width of the web page, and that way you don't have to worry about fiddling around with getting pictures to fit exactly into the browser, because they're not going to. It's going to be responsive. They will resize nicely, right? They'll scale and whatnot, like so. And boom, you see that? As you move, they move too. Cool. So with that said, let's put that back to where it was and let's get cracking. Right, so let's start with the first portfolio image. Let's just change that. I'll double click to open up my select image source. It tells me 640 by 480, so I've already prepped my replacement images, and I have a 640 by 480 image right here. I'll drop, it'll be selected, I click OK, it's done. Then I would modify the link title and the link description. You can do that right here in the design window. And then the view web page, that's the button. You don't really need to change the description of that button because it tells the visitor exactly what to do. Hey, if there's a web page, view it. If you don't want the button, just get rid of the, just scrub over it, go to your quick tag selector, click the A, FSP, SFSP-read more, and just hit delete if you don't want it. Right? Other than that, you can use see the link tool down here, point to file. You can now just modify the link by taking that tool and either pointing to a web page or manually typing the web page into the link. Right. Now, the other couple of bits of information we need here is, well, what about the Lightbox? So when we click the image, or we hover over the image, how do we get the picture to show up nice and large right here? Well, what we do is just select the image in the page, go to code view, scroll down a little bit until you have both the image that you've selected highlighted like so, and then down below look for the fancy box. Copy the name of the image, in this case 640 by 480 JPEG, copy that and go over here to where it says portfolio JPEG 1, scrub over that and paste. That's one way to do it and probably the easiest way. Now, if you watched any of the other videos we have about working with Lightboxes, the really cool thing is you can put a different image in for your Lightbox. So you could load two images in. For mobile users, that's not optimal, just so you know. For mobile, you want to keep the amount of stuff being loaded into the page as little as possible. Okay, that's why we just go with one image. But you could put whatever image in the design view that you want, and then for the Lightbox image, the fancy box image down here, you can actually load in a different image. I would suggest, if you're going to do that, I strongly suggest if you're going to do that, you go to your library components and your portfolio folder, and here is the images folder. Put the image, the larger image, in this folder here. So library, components, portfolio, images. Put it in the same folder as the smaller one. So that way all you need to do when you change your larger image is you just change the name of the image, because it already knows what folder to look into. If you put it in a different folder, then you have to change the entire path, and that's where things are going to start to break and cause you headaches. Okay, so now that we've done an entire image, we've modified an entire image, how do we get the image to show up under a different heading, and how do we change these headings? So if I wanted my first image right here, let me refresh the page first. There it is right there. Now when you hit view all, that shows all the pictures in the portfolio. When we click one of these titles or one of these buttons up here, it reorganizes things. Right? When I click products, the first image stayed the same. It didn't move because it's part of the products group. When I click services, it goes away, and then a different batch of images show up. What if I wanted my first image, this one here, to now show up under the services? What I would do is I would first of all go to the top of the page here, and I would take a look to see what service is, and it uses the filter of group 2. Right? When I have a thumbnail, all right, see where it says slide, so we have slide. Then we have the thumb title, so you know which thumb number it is, and the first thing below that is an LI. It's a LI class, and that says group 1. Okay, so if I look here, group 1, and that is where the first image, it stayed when I clicked on the first button. If I want it to show up under services, I have to change it to group 2, just like that. So now when I reorganize things, the first slide will no longer show up when I click products, but it will show up when I click services, because now I've associated it with this filter of group 2. And this is where you can also change the name. So view all, that kind of makes sense. You may not want to change that, or just change it to all. That might make more sense too. These you can change to whatever name you want. Okay, and if you want to add more, you need to add an additional LI tag. So you need to take the entire LI tag. So when I click on, I'll start at the bottom here. I'll just click on the LI tag right here. Select the whole thing, copy, and then give yourself a little bit of room and paste below. And then organize if you want to organize, like so. All right, and that would give you an extra link at the top. Right, as you can see, and then you can change the name from our team to our town, for example. This may be something, and then you need to change the group from group 4 to group 5. You can actually use any data filter name you want. Group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. To me, that makes sense. So that's why I went with that. But of course, you can call it whatever you want. As long as you're down here under the class, right? The group and the class must match. Now, the group data filter requires the class period, but down here under the class it doesn't. So as long as the actual word is the same, or word that you're using there.